really should have done something with my hair, but fine. We're going with the theme here. This is a Haggis hat, but I am going to turn it around so that way I'm not having to worry about, getting in the way. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel where I talk and do everything pinball. So, if that sounds interesting to you, then hit that subscribe button down below. I feel like a lot of the things that I'm going to say in this video is like basically moving the goalpost for pinball manufacturing. Because it seems like everyone wanted to see something from Haggis. Like, show us cabinets, show us playfields, show us parts, we're asking for the bare minimum here kind of thing, especially since we just got out of the whole Deep Root fiasco. We were simply asking Robert for, hey, just show us parts, show us a lot of cabinets, show us that you're actually making something. And it's like Haggis pretty much does the bare minimum of what we were asking by showing us cabinets and even assembled game and boxing it up. So they're actually shipping a game, which is more than Deep Root ever accomplished. But evidently, this isn't enough now. You've given us a little bit, and now it seems like the majority of the pinball community is like, well, that's not good enough. We want more. We need to see this. We need to see that. I'm like, why? Why do you need to see that? I mean, so we're gonna go through the video. It's a short video, but there's things in here that a lot of you probably are not going to catch or see because you're watching it at standard speed, and evidently you don't have as much time as I do to actually go through this frame by frame. And it's not that I've got more time on my hands, guys. It's that I guess I had nothing else better to do at that time. So the first thing that I want to compliment Haggis on is from the quality standpoint of view. The cabinets look great from what they've added to make it their own, from the backside with the reflective mirroring for their Haggis logo as well as the name, and just the reflectivity of it, of the side art, the chrome finishing. When it comes to inside the cabinet, the same ordeal. With everything the way it's laid out, it looks like all the hardware is in the base cabinet. More than likely, the back box or the head of the pinball machine for this particular game is going to be probably mostly vacant because it looks like everything is within the bottom of this cabinet. And if there still is a slew of hardware in the back box, that's a lot of hardware for this machine that back in the day didn't need all of this. So what you have at the base of the cabinet, it looks to be a majority of the workings of the game when it comes to all the mechanical stuff, the power supplies, and then at the back of the cabinet you have the projector that flashes through the bottom of the cabinet to give you that nice little, I guess, aquatic touch that you're only going to see in the Mermaid Edition, as well as what looks to be a hefty sound system. You've even got the amplifier as well as a nice little decal that states "Play Me Loud." Then we get a nice pan over on the underside of the playfield and all of the components. This playfield looks freaking packed, first of all, with a lot of hardware, and the hardware looks to be great quality. All the metals are nice and shiny, which is not very common. The only time I've ever seen the underside of the playfield look this shiny when it comes to the metals is the Pinball Brothers Alien. So they lower the playfield down, and the game fully lights up. Martin puts on his sticker of quality approval. The lights turn off, and we get a nice little wide shot of what the game looks like in its full glory with dark ambience and just the game lighting up and showing us the projector under the cabinet. We then transfer to the preparation for shipping process. They get the game on a pallet and get it all boxed up to show us that, hey, the games are now shipping. At least this game is. So that is an overview of this video, not being critical. Let's add some criticism to this. So first of all, let me state that this is obviously staged, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean what they're doing, the purpose of them doing this is to prove a point. This is not them doing an everyday thing of just like in the norm of stuff. If you see a video of the production line at Stern or even Jersey Jack, it's always a multitude of workers doing a certain task and not caring what the cameras are doing to make sure they get a nice clean shot of what's going on. This was staged to the point to show you a couple of things. One, the quality, which I'm not denying, is there. Two, showing you that they care about that quality. And three, showing you that, hey, we are doing something and getting games out to you. And if those were their three goals, then they accomplished them. But I think it would have been better if you would have saw multiple people doing a lot of other things also in the background working on different games to make it look more like an assembly line and that you guys are working non-stop to try to get these games out faster. Instead of putting all your efforts into just this one game, I think showing it look more busy would have been better. Because as the video starts out, you can see Martin and this other person kind of tuckered away, hidden at one point. All you see is their legs standing by. Then Damien obviously is doing the recording. You can kind of see his hair in the reflection of the side rails. Then more than likely, Damien stated that as he pans over the underside of the playfield, that is when you will be lowering the playfield down, locking it in position. Martin, you can put on your sticker of approval on the lockdown receiver, and then we will show the game in its full glory with the lights off. That is more than likely the bullet points that were gone over before the recording of this. So I will say that I do enjoy the fact that they have shown us at least 8 to maybe 10 cabinets that are assembled and look great. They're not in like, you know, multiple stages of the cabinetry. You have basically 2 phases, one with no legs and another with legs. But you've only got 2 games with playfields and back glasses. I feel like there probably should be more. I think that the 4 games that were there should have had playfields in them. And my next piece of criticism is and has been this since they first showed us what the game looked like, all lit up, and that's the fact that there are hotspots behind this back glass. I have never been a fan of hotspots, and for those that don't know what that is, it's when you have direct light flashing directly closely to the backside of the back glass. So whenever it shines through, instead of the light being evenly dispersed just to illuminate your art, you have just a really bright segment in one particular spot. So you can really see where all the bulbs are. It does not look as clean as it being evenly dispersed out and having the light just kind of illuminate the back glass, illuminate the art, instead of they got the hot spots. And at this point of view in the video, you can see why that is. They are not using your standard, like, you know, bulbs that you would see obviously in the back in the day when it comes to Fathoms, but they are using like the SMDs that are mounted, surface mounted LEDs on these boards. And they look to be relatively close to the back glass, and there is no diffusers on them, so that's a little disappointing. I feel like they probably should implement some kind of diffuser on top of these LEDs to make it to where it's not so much having the hot spots in the back glass. That is a nitpick from me. I don't think anybody or a lot of people have at least highlighted that or noticed it or even care, but for me, I've never been a fan of that. Even with other videos I've seen what people do on their games, that is something I tried to deter from doing whenever I'm lighting up my games. I do not like the hot spots. So this individual holds up this tiny little decal that he's going to put somewhere on the game. The thing is, it's so out of focus, it's difficult to see what it actually says in the amount of time that it shows it. But for those that did not get a chance to actually read what it says Australian made and owned. Now, something else to note from a quality standpoint that I happen to notice whenever they're basically lowering the back box to the cabinet is that the individual is wiping down where the back box once was. That's something that I don't think a lot of people would care if it was dirty or not, because you're never going to see that area unless the back box is down. But they're taking that a little extra time to wipe down that area. So just a little note that you probably didn't notice that I did, and it's appreciated. Now, chances are they are building these playfields in a different room where all the parts and everything like that is. But I can't help but notice that they do have a playfield rotisserie in this shot, and it's empty. They could have put a playfield on there, semi-constructed or fully constructed, to kind of help show that, hey, they're bringing playfields in there. Just another little side note to help the video and give it a little more faith to people out there. After getting it all wrapped up the first time, they bring it into what looks to be the shipping area, where they put it onto a pallet that is double stacked to make it easier, as they have to get the height of their cart just right so they can get it upright. Now, something you don't notice because how fast they have it on here, but they do show that it is double stacked on a pallet. Now, in order for them to get it to where it needs to be, they have to get a pallet jack to get it up underneath there. A forklift comes in, raises the machine, they move the bottom pallet out of the way so they can get it down to one pallet. Now, does this method work? Yes, it accomplishes the goal, but I feel like there are a lot of steps in here that could be altered or adjusted to help the assembly and shipping process a little more streamlined. Because think about it, you need 3 people for this one step. You need one person to hold the game on the pallet to make sure it doesn't fall over. You need another individual with a pallet jack to pull the bottom pallet out. Then you need a forklift certified individual to make sure they hold on to the pallet that is holding the game, lifting it up so the bottom pallet can be removed. Again, it's getting the job done. I just feel like that could be a little more streamlined. So from a critical standpoint, I think that's everything that I want to highlight. I feel like they are going to get these games out, guys. It's just going to take a long time. This is going to be a very slow output by them for a multitude of reasons. I mean, Australia was hit probably the hardest when it comes to lockdowns and restrictions and being able to get parts and everything. I feel that they are going to be building these games as the parts come in, like every manufacturer currently is. And maybe due to the limitation on parts and availability of them, they're having to restrict their staff to only a few, because what's the point of having a whole assembly line and a whole slew of people on hand to assemble games when you've only got enough parts to build one? In a nutshell, what I'm seeing is good enough for right now. People were begging and hoping for them to show something. Show us that you've got cabinets. Show us that you can build a game. Show us that you can ship a game. They've shown it. And of course, the mob is asking for more. It's never going to be enough. And so it's funny. Haggis, I believe you're going to do it. I just think that people are going to have to wait a very long time to get their game. And I'm hoping that that doesn't affect what it's going to be like for the future for you guys, that people are going to want your next title, whether it be Centaur or another game. I don't know what people are going to feel like when it comes to putting down that $8,000 or $9,000+ and it being non-refundable and having to wait over a year or so to maybe get their game out. But what I believe is going to really push those to get future games from you is the reviews of the owners of Fathom showing and telling people how good the quality is. From what I can see, the quality looks great. So if that pushes through, then their quality will hopefully win over the hearts and wallets of those of you out there. Fathom is a very pretty game, and for those of you out there getting it, I hope you enjoy it. But me, myself, I'm waiting for Centaur. I have no idea where I'm going to put the damn thing, but I've got time to figure that out. So that's my thoughts on what they showed us in this 1 minute and 20 second clip. What are your thoughts? Put them down below. And until next time, guys, peace out.